Welcome back. Today we are discussing being healthy and vital. But before we talk about health, I want to make it really clear that I am not a medical professional of any sort. This information that I'm sharing with you, I've gathered, and it's simply here for you to form your own opinion around. To become skilled at creating what it is that you desire, having good health is an integral part of that, especially a really good mental mindset. When we have the power over our minds, we have the power to create. What we focus on affects our mental and our physical state. So when we are struggling with our health, we are focusing on what's wrong, the pain, the worry, and that's totally legitimate. But in doing so, we're constantly giving instruction to our bodies that we are not healthy. And as we approach our 40s and our 50s, we are so focused on the lack of sleep or the sluggish metabolism, our inability to focus like we used to. And I know if you're like me, you get with your friends and we talk about it all the time. And what we're doing is we're creating an identity of the body that it's broken or it's not what it used to be. Now, I'm not telling you to be in denial of physical or mental health. I'm just simply suggesting to be aware of what we're focusing on and to do our best to focus on what is going well. There is a procedure that I share in the 4 Core meditation where I have you focus on everything that is going well, the trillions of cells that are healthy and working for you in your body. And what this starts to do is it gives your body the instruction that you are healthy. So the placebo effect, I like to start off with that. Here's an excerpt from Joe Dispenza's book, You Are the Placebo, Making Your Mind Matter. In the book, he shares a story of September of 1981, 8 men who go to a monastery in New Hampshire. The men participate in a 5-day retreat where they're asked to pretend that they're 22 years younger. There's magazines from that era, newspapers, their clothing. At the end of the study, the men's bodies are physiologically younger, structurally as well as physically. The men literally grew younger in those 5 days. They were able to turn on the circuits in their brain that reminded them of who they had been 22 years ago, and their body chemistry responded. The mind is powerful. Another story that he shares in his book is about a surgeon in the World War II. Ran out of morphine, so he put saline solution in an IV and labeled it morphine. His patients and the nurses didn't know the difference. The placebo effect works. So, do you believe in the placebo effect? And if you do, how would you harness the power of the mind to create what it is that you want for your health? It's our beliefs that form our thoughts and emotions, which put us either in a creation or a problem-solving orientation. These beliefs come from our environment, our families, culture, and society. Most of these beliefs were downloaded during childhood. And as moms of teens, you're probably thinking, oh gosh, what limiting beliefs have I helped download into my child? This is not a time for guilt. Guilt has no benefit for us here. These limiting beliefs often come from an innocent interaction with a child. For example, you're busy answering emails when your 5-year-old wants your attention, and you say, no, not now, I don't have time. The belief that is instilled in that 5-year-old is, I'm not worthy of her attention. You are here now, gaining new tools to share with your teens, so all is good. Don't worry. During adolescence, there's a window of opportunity for your child to create a mindset, attitude, and habits that they will carry into the rest of their life. Their brain is developing in a way where new habits and beliefs can be installed much quicker and more effectively. And I'll go into that in more detail in another course. Bruce Lipton says that the mind is similar to a government that can enact policies to influence cells. A good mental government is compassionate and has positive thoughts. A bad mental government is self-criticizes and focuses on the negative. Yes, a strong foundation of love and gratitude will release positive and healthy chemicals like dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins into the body. The foundation of criticism and fear will result in negative and unhealthy chemicals such as cortisol, adrenaline, epinephrine, and stress hormones that will put you in fight or flight, which diverts energy from the immune system. It's also linked to emotionally shutting you down from connecting with others, and we all know the importance of connecting with people. Documented teen mental health claims doubled during the pandemic. Neural pathways are the biological result of your habits of thinking, so choose your thoughts and emotions. By intentionally choosing your thoughts and emotions, you are reprogramming your mind. I was listening to a podcast with Dr. Kristin Neff. She's my go-to on self-compassion. And the woman that she was talking to said, you have to believe in order for your body to have a positive response to it. And she said, no, you just have to have the intention to believe and to back that intention up by redirecting your thoughts towards that belief. Miracles. What would happen if you believed in miracles? The definition, an unusual and mysterious event that is thought to have been caused by God because it does not follow the usual laws of nature. Another way to put that is it's something that occurs that our conscious mind can't make sense of because the conscious mind is limited to what it believes is possible. We live in a society that tries to understand and explain all of the impossibilities. We all know someone who has had some kind of health miracle. One of my mother's friends was diagnosed with a stage 4 terminal cancer and was only given 6 months to live. Well, 15 years later, she's still cancer-free. None of our doctors understood why. Miracles happen all of the time, all around us, and we choose not to recognize them because our minds can't grasp how. But what if we put into the universe what we desire and believe that there are powers working on our behalf? Now, I know we can all tell a heartbreaking story of loved ones that left this world too soon, and they were surrounded by people that loved them, and they prayed for a miracle, and the miracle didn't happen. And we all can tell stories like I just did of miracles that do happen. Both happen, both are true. But where do you want to put your focus? Earlier, we discussed the release of positive hormones when you are in positive thought. But I want to warn you of a thing called toxic positivity. When we experience pain, we must not avoid or suppress those emotions. Those emotions get trapped in our body and have a negative impact on our health. We must allow ourselves to feel the pain, move through it, let go, and don't get stuck in it. We must allow our teens to feel their pain. I have been guilty of telling our daughters, you can choose how you want to feel when they're in the midst of something painful. So keep in mind this thing called toxic positivity too. Dr. Bruce Lipton wrote a book named The Biology of Belief. This is based off of his study on epigenetics. You control the environment your genes are in, and this changes the proteins they make. Epigenetics refers to the control of genes, not from the DNA itself, but from the messages coming from the outside. In other words, from the environment. It teaches us that we are indeed not doomed by our genes, and that changes in human consciousness can produce physical change. Let's compare blueprints of a home to genes. Depending on who is reading them, they see different things, and and different things will be created due to their interpretations of the blueprints. The architect is seeing the flow and design of a home, an engineer the structure. The designer is seeing the furniture layout and how the family will live within the walls. And the superintendent is seeing how it all comes together, how to actually bring all of these different visions of the home into reality. They each are looking at the same plans. The blueprints don't change from person to person. The interpretation differs. It is expressed differently by each individual. They will all have their own interpretations of the blueprints, and because of that, the final product will represent each interpretation. It's the same with our genes. They don't change, but how we interpret our life either turns a gene on or off. We can change our beliefs. For instance, there are a lot of mental health issues in my family, and at the age of 12, I asked to see a therapist. I knew then that I wanted to change something within me so that I did not have to suffer from depression. What started as fixing the problem turned into a fascination with how the mind works and learning tools to redirect my thinking so that it served me. The genes that would have been expressed as depression weren't expressed because I changed my lifestyle, the way I thought, what I eat, and the fact that I exercise every day. That's simple, and it doesn't work that way for everyone, but this did work for me. So depending on how you're looking at your life is how you will read the blueprints. What you think and feel could turn your genes on or off. You'll always have the same genes. However, you do have some power over whether they're turned on or not off. Our genes don't totally seal our fate. There is an enormous library of possibilities just waiting to be used. The world of epigenetics, the study of changes in organisms caused by modification of gene expression, upregulation turning on or downregulation turning off, rather than alteration of the genetic code itself. So changing a personality, which is how you think, how you act, and how you feel, physical symptoms can shift. So a story again from Joe Dispenza's book, Dissociative Identity Disorder or Multiple Personality. As they changed identities, their physical symptoms also shifted. For example, a woman admitted to the hospital for diabetes baffled her physicians by showing no symptoms of her disorder when one personality, who was not diabetic, was dominant. A young man was allergic to citrus fruit in some personalities, but not in others. It was the same body and the same genes, but the expression of those genes in that personality was different. As they did something, what they were expressing outwardly changed their bodies. Some personalities, but not in others. It was the same body and the same genes, but the expression of those genes in that personality was different. Okay, so what can we do? The obvious. But why? Physical activity releases endorphins and dopamine. Physical activity should be fun and enjoyable and make us feel good. Eating healthy. Food matters. The gut is home to trillions of living microbes that have many functions in the body, such as synthesizing neurotransmitters that send chemical messages to the brain to regulate sleep, pain, appetite, mood, and emotion. Water. Dehydration is linked to depression. Drinking enough water makes the skin more supple and moisturized, and you have clearer skin, fewer wrinkles, less acne. You're more energetic and focused. Sleep. It's like a medium steak. Too little, too rare, not long enough, and overdone, too much. They say that everyone requires a solid 7 hours straight through. The heart is so sensitive to disruptions in sleep that we see a marked increase in heart attacks the morning after daylight savings begins. And sleep and intentional breathing allows fresh oxygen and nutrients to be distributed to your cells, which calms your nervous system. And when you smile, your brain releases tiny molecules called neuropeptides to help fight off stress. Other neurotransmitters like dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins come into play too. Endorphins act as mild pain relievers, whereas serotonin is an antidepressant. One study even suggests that smiling can help us recover faster from stress and reduce our heart rate. In fact, it might even be worth your while to fake a smile and see where it gets you. There's been some evidence that forcing a smile can still bring you a boost in your mood and happiness level. And as I mentioned before, a strong foundation of love and gratitude will release positive and healthy chemicals like dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins into the body. These are basic things that we can model for our children to guide them to live a healthy and happy life. And then I want to end with vitality. That is our energy force. When we're focusing on where we're putting our energy, if it's on something negative, we have a lower vibration, giving us less energy, leading to fatigue. And when we're focusing on something positive, we're operating on a higher vibration. And that vibration is contagious. We all pick up on other people's energy. And so I feel like there is a responsibility for us to always be making sure that we are vital and we are living at the highest frequency we can. It's that time to do the journaling meditation like we did in the last video. So again, what I'm going to have you do is get in a nice, comfortable seat, take a couple deep breaths in and out. I'm going to guide you through the journaling meditation. When I pause the video, sit with what I've prompted you with and just connect. When you're ready, open your eyes, journal, and then turn the recording back on and keep doing that through this journaling meditation. So let's get into a nice, comfortable seat. Close your eyes and take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And I want you to really sit and think about where your focus is. What are you focusing on? Is it everything that is going right in your life? Or are you focusing on the things that aren't quite aligned with what you want and desire? When you're with friends or coworkers or your spouse, are you talking about things that aren't what you want? Or are you celebrating and focusing on what you're grateful for? Take a moment and identify where you are. Just observe, no judgment, and then where you want to be, what you choose to create moving forward. Next are your beliefs. Are you carrying any limiting beliefs? Maybe beliefs of I'm not good enough, or I don't belong, I don't deserve this. Are you carrying any of those with you? So we talked about how they do release negative hormones and chemicals. They do not serve us. So are they there? Do you need to check in through some silent meditation time and check in with that inner voice and be aware of what it's saying? And then intentionally choose to create a different belief. So take some time and check in with what that inner voice is saying, and then choose to be intentional about what you do want to believe about yourself. against epigenetics? Is there some genetic history that you are afraid of, that you believe that's going to come into fruition for you? I want you to take time here to contemplate the study of epigenetics and see where you can make changes. This isn't saying you don't do anything, any kind of Western medicine precautions to keep you from what might be genetically in your makeup. But what can you also do as a mindset to redirect those genes, to turn them on or off? So sit with this for a moment, contemplate the study of epigenetics, and come up with a plan for yourself. And now miracles. Miracles do exist. Do you choose to believe and acknowledge them as you see them throughout your day, the little miracles that pop up, and put your focus on what is possible when you co-create with a higher power, whether it's the universe or God? Sit with what your beliefs are around miracles. And now the basics. Are you getting the exercise that your body needs? Are you getting enough of it? Too much of it? What about the nutrients that you're feeding your body? The amount of water. Just take some time to think about just kind of those basics, where you are with it and what you want to create moving forward. And lastly, your vitality. What energy are you putting out there? How do others feel around you? What energy do you choose to intentionally share with the people that you surround yourself with? Take some time and contemplate what energy you are giving and maybe what you want to create moving forward.